Hi guys, so since we are all kind of stuck at home and it's been hard to come up with projects that I don't need to go out and get lumber and all sorts of different things for, I have just been working on tons of crafts to keep myself busy. And so lately I've been doing a lot of projects using recycling, just a bunch of stuff that I have left over from grocery shopping and stuff. And so I went to Instagram stories and asked if you guys would be interested, and it turns out you are. So I'm sharing a few different videos that will include, each will include about 5 DIYs. And so this week we're going to be sharing 5 DIY recycling projects for kids. So I did all of these projects because I don't have kids, but my cousins had been asking for some projects to do with their kids. So I painted these and everything, but you can alter these however you would like to fit your kids' needs and whatever you guys want to do as a family. So first you're going to print out your Cactus template, which we're going to have on the blog, so you can get the PDF to download. And then you'll just cut it out, and then you can trace it onto some cardboard, or you can just cut around it. Then once you have both pieces cut out, you can start painting them. And now I'm just going to use a little bit of white paint to just paint some little spikes onto the cactus. And then once they have dried, you can slide them together, and if you want extra security, you can add a little bit of hot glue. So I glued, there was some soil in this pot, but I put a circular just piece of cardboard, and then I'm just going to glue this bottom piece to. And then I'm actually just going to put a little bit of extra glue in there and then add a little bit of soil just to make it look a little bit more real. Okay, so for the mushrooms, I cut the little parts, I don't know, where the eggs sit, out for the top of the mushrooms. And then I cut out these things in between the eggs for the base. And so for each of the bases, I just kind of squeezed them together to make it a little bit more narrow. And then I just used a scrap piece to stick down into here, just to make it a little bit higher once I glue the top of the mushroom on. So now I'm just gonna paint the tops red and then put little dots on them, and then I'll glue everything together. I'm just going to glue the tab in place, and then on the inside of the mushroom cap I'm just going to put some glue, and then stick it onto the extra piece. So for the camera, I actually did 2 different styles. So the first one, you can just use this printable of a PDF I'll include on the blog, and then just trace it onto cardboard and cut it out. And then I put 2 little holes on the side so I can put string through, and then I'll just glue this in place, and then I'm just gonna paint everything. So I'm just gonna use washi tape, and I'll just stretch it across so I can get a black strip across the camera. And then I'm also going to paint the piece of the cardboard tube that I cut black as well. And then for the second camera, I took just like a thin box from cereal bars, and I cut it down. So from the top, I cut just like an inch, a little over an inch off the top, and left the side flap, and then I folded that down in, and then I'm going to fold the top 2 sides. I just bent it along, and then this part of the box I had to cut off, so I cut off the opposite end, and I'm just going to tape that inside. So now I'm just going to tape the whole box together pretty much, and then I'll glue this on the front. I'm going to glue some little extra pieces on, and I'm just going to poke holes before I tape it all together for string to go around, and then for a little hole from the back to the front. So I'm just gonna put the string through the sides. And now I'm just gonna tape everything together. And now I'm just gonna paint the whole outside of the box black and this piece, and I'm gonna go get a couple pieces to put on the sides, or on the top for the buttons, just like a couple caps from pop bottles and stuff, and I'll paint those black as well, and then I'll paint a design onto it later. Now I'm gonna paint some extra details on the other parts of the camera, and then a couple different things on the camera to give it a little more realistic look. But you can have your kids paint it however they want. And now I'm just gonna use a hot glue gun to glue everything in place. You're just gonna cut out pieces of paper bag, and then you're just gonna give your kid some chalk and they'll just draw doodles on there, and then you can just frame it as little abstract art. So first I just took my X-Acto knife and then I cut around the cap, and then I cut the top part off so that it ended up looking like this. And then you can just give it to your kid to paint, or I'm actually just gonna spray paint the first coat and then paint on top of it just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna go take it, spray paint it, and then I'll paint it afterwards. And then once you have the base coat all set, you can just use a bunch of different color paints, paint it however you want, have your kids paint it however you want, and then let it dry. So then I just cut out a square, which I'll include in the PDF, and then I'm just gonna cut a bunch of the tiles out of just a piece of cardboard, and then I'm gonna use those as the roof. Then I'm just gonna take some string and tie it. I just cut a little hole on this side and then through the spot where you normally would pour it, and this is just gonna serve to hang it up. And then I'm gonna start taking these pieces that I cut, and I actually really like the color of the box, so I'm gonna start creating like shingles and then hot gluing them in place on top. Now I'm just gonna use the arch from the printable, and I'm just gonna trace it onto the side of the box, and then I'll use an X-Acto knife to cut it out. So now I'm just gonna cut a small hole under here, and then I just have this like piece of a wooden dowel, and I'm gonna glue it in place.